Sean and Mel, the original power couple, here we are. What's up, guys? Good to see you again. Life is beautiful, as you can see on the hat here, and I have my fuzzy little speaker boom that's not currently plugged in right now. Anyway, today's lesson is winning through action, never through an argument, and the strength that it gives to you and being a power couple. And so the theory behind this is action, right? Taking action is the one thing that solves anything and every problem that I've ever encountered in my life. I know, same for Monster.
Or it's the particular actions that you take.
Right. And so,
in an argument when you're arguing.
So like most arguments get really heated, and then both partners say, F this, we're out, and they quit, and they're done, and they move along, right?
Someone typically runs away, like if you're in the house together, someone gets in their car and leaves or something like that, or goes up to their bedroom or something like that.
And worse than that, like after the argument, nothing changes, right? And so the idea here is to really, I guess, finish the argument. And by finishing the argument, what I mean by that is
hash it out.
One of the rules that we put in place, because we kind of recognized this early, was the idea that, like, hey, we get in arguments just like everybody else, but when we do, don't stop right there at the cusp. Rather, push through the rest of the argument and develop some sort of a clear future of how things are going to change, because change is important.
Yeah, so when you're at the peak of anger in the argument, that's the peak. If you can push past that and stick through it and continue to talk through it instead of running away, that's what makes a power couple powerful. It's not running away from what's going on, because that's not going to solve anything. It's super important. I know in arguments that we've had, we've come to find that the reason why we've done so well in our relationship is because we've never ran away from our problems. If we fight, no one runs out the door and gets in the car and leaves. We always just
we just made a rule. Like I remember one of the
like,
biggest fights that we ever had. Like I'm a habitual line stepper, right? Like when we first started dating, I always like to kind of test the boundaries and see like what she could take and what she couldn't. Would that break her? Would it not? Just so I knew what not to do in the future. And one of the times, like I'm a flirtatious kind of guy. I won't lie about that. And one of our relationships fights that we had was happened to be about girls. And we were in the house and talking about it, and you know, there was some emotion there. Like she was pretty hot, I was pretty hot, because we were talking about things that, you know, I was committed. I'm super committed to her. I've always been committed to her. I always will be committed to her. And every now and again, I like to look at a girl, because I think girls are prettier than guys. And so, of course, alcohol influenced this particular fight at the time. But what happened was we went through and we got into this knockdown, drag-out fight. And I was just down on my luck. And I thought to myself, okay, like I could keep yelling, but at the same time, maybe not. Like maybe we can just sort this out by action, because that's the point here, is always take action. And so I said to her, okay, look, I recognize that I goofed up, okay? I stepped over this line here. I understand this line is something that really upsets you. And here's the 5 things that I'm gonna do to never let that happen again. And so I told her at the end of the argument, even though I was heated, I said, look, I commit to doing these 5 things, and I wrote them down on a whiteboard, and I just looked at them every day. I was like, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. And then I started changing myself so that kind of environment or that fight would never happen again, right? And since then, I mean,
it's been great.
It's been flawless, and our relationship.
Yeah, it's all about expectations and really talking through. I mean, you're having a fight for a reason, or you're having an argument for a reason, because there's no clear expectation of what you expect from each other. So
so don't just leave the argument as an argument. Rather, take the next step. And we challenge you to take the next step and get over the emotional hump that you might be in that particular spot, and sit down and discuss, like, okay, this happened, I get it, you know, maybe it doesn't have to be that particular conversation. Wait a day, or like have some sort of a cool off period that we do, right? So if we get in each other's face a little bit, like we'll cool off for either 2 hours to a day, depending.
But never run away, because
Right.
I think a lot of people run away thinking, oh, that I'll get him or I'll get her, I'll just leave or something like that. And that is, I mean, the only person you're hurting there is yourself.
Yeah.
So.
And then sit down with them and say, look, I agree that this is kind of the facts, and then here's the 5 things that I'm going to do, or the 2 things, or the 1 thing that I'm going to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again, so we can strengthen our relationship. We've lived by that principle. It's been really strong for us, and I hope
It
that
makes
helps.
you so strong. It makes
Yeah.
you so unbelievably strong to know that you can work through anything.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
anyway, that was our tip for today. Hope that helps. If maybe share one thing that you fought about. Share, drop a comment below, like one of the main things that you've ever fought about, and maybe we could make a video about one of those things. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How we worked through
How
that
we worked through that particular
situation.
problem. We'd love
Yeah.
to hear your problem so we can help.
10
like-
years of relationship, we've been through a lot.
Yeah. Cool, guys. Well, Sean and Mel, the original power couple. Make sure and like this video if it helps you, and also share it to your partner, or even share it to somebody else that you think might benefit from it. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.